Something about it feels strange to have new beginnings at a time in our lives when the season calls us to be turning inward with reflection, listening to our innermost selves and taking inventory of our lives to determine what to keep and what to change. We've celebrated the 8 lighted candles of Hanukkah. We have watched the pink and purple candles of Advent be lit on each Sunday of December. We have watched the moon together on solstice. We have raised candles high when singing Silent Night on Christmas Eve. And we're finishing the row of green and red and black candles of Kwanzaa. And now the new year, 2024, with thoughts of the life changes that we call resolutions. They're beginning to creep into our daily chats with one another. I don't do standard resolutions. They seem to come with a pass-fail characteristic, and I'm more of a subtle shift in a small way sort of person. I tend to follow the natural seasons, not a contrived calendar that humans constructed to stay on track. As I made my salsa and packaged up my freezer crock-pot recipes this fall, I was following the rhythms of the squirrels who stash away their winter's store. I felt solstice's deafening silence, calling me into a reflective period, a restful period, and I began napping in the afternoon. Many cultures whose citizens regularly live to 100 and beyond consider napping an essential quality for health. In that silence of solstice, I heard wisdom, not some booming Hollywood voice that represented God. No, the wisdom of ancient people, of the ancestors who came before me, and the wisdom that is in my own soul. What did I hear? I heard the longings of a soul for a soft place to land, a community of people who are also in touch with their wisdom, ones who honor the ancients and take time to connect with their lessons. I did revisit the concept of hygge, the Danish quality of coziness and comfortable surroundings, an environment that promotes well-being and contentment as opposed to production and stress. It complements the napping quite well. In addition, I've chosen to be a little more intentional about meal planning. For ethical and health reasons, I limit my red meat intake to an occasional restaurant meal, but the planet needs more of us to lighten that load. Living more intentionally is a quality that I've learned from my sister. She seems to make decisions about every aspect of her life with deliberation, backed up by a library of research. And I admire that about her. She knows why she doesn't eat at McDonald's. She knows why an island needs to have laws about what comes onto the grounds. She purchases shampoo based on the sustainability and naturalness of the ingredients. I am moving into that realm, and I thank her for her model. Are these resolutions? No. They're small tweaks in my life, little adjustments, shall we say. In addition to the Danish concept of hygge, I have recently learned of something from the Netherlands. The Dutch have perfected the practice of doing nothing. Or niksen. Niksen. They've perfected it so well that they are some of the happiest people on earth. It's about intentionally doing nothing, not letting yourself drift off to sleep while the movie plays because you've been actively engaged at some level with the movie. No, niksen is about being actively engaged with nothing. Not trying to clear thoughts with meditation, not petting the dog while reading, just sitting and letting the world float around you. So very difficult for most of us who are trained well in the productivity line of life. But I'm going to give it a whirl. At this junction of our endings and beginnings, what inventory of life are you taking? What needs to be tweaked? A relationship? a recommitment to health, a community building activity? What might you let go? Only you, with the wisdom that is inside you, can determine how to balance the restfulness and darkness of winter with what your soul needs to feel alive. Alive in the sense of being what we need to be in this world, connected to one another, connected to nature, and doing our part to hold up our part of the sky. There's a story of a Buddhist monk who had been invited to a high school class to inspire the students. As he entered the room, he said nothing, which of course caused an awkward silence among the students as well. He walked up to the board and wrote these words: Everyone wants to help save the world, but nobody wants to help Mom do the dishes. The class laughed, and then he went on to say, statistically, it's highly unlikely that any of you will ever have the opportunity to run into a burning orphanage and rescue an infant. But in the smallest gesture of kindness, a warm smile, holding the door for the person behind you, shoveling the driveway of an elderly person next door, you have committed an act of immeasurable profundity, because to each of us, our life is our universe. May each of us be the sunshine in another's world in the coming days. Our meditation today is a New Year's poem by John Donahue, Irish poet and priest, whose Celtic spirituality led him to writing the book called Anam Cara, A Spiritual Friend. Here's the New Year's blessing. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the currach of thought and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so, may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. Our music recommendation is a traditional Scottish song that has stood the test of time. It asks us to honor friendships that have also stood the test of time, to raise a cup welcoming the newness that is upon us, and to nod in agreement that old time's sake is worth remembering. Auld Lang Syne, words by Robert Burns. Blessings on all.